Okay, let's dive right in. For years, right, the Florida condo was the dream. It was sunshine, it was security, a pretty solid investment. But that dream is getting a huge reality check as we head into 2026. So today, we're going to unpack what is really going on with the Florida condo market and why all the old rules are just getting tossed out the window.
Just look at this number, 30%. This right here tells so much of the story. In city after city, condo prices have literally plunged by 30%, sometimes even more, from the peaks we saw just a couple of years back. And this isn't some gentle correction, For a lot of owners, this is a financial shockwave that has basically wiped out their equity almost overnight.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures what's happening. It's not just about numbers on a page. We're talking about thousands of people, retirees, investors, regular families who saw the promise of that easy Florida lifestyle just unravel in a really painful way.
So what does this unraveling actually look like on the ground? It's a story that goes way beyond just the sticker price on a condo. It's about a massive shift in the day-to-day reality of owning your own little piece of the Sunshine State.
Honestly, all you have to do is take a drive through some of these coastal towns. It tells you everything. Whereas sold signs used to pop up in a matter of days, now you see for sale signs just sitting there. 4 months. The market is absolutely flooded with condos for sale. But that pool of buyers who are willing or even able to buy, well, it's drying up. And it's drying up fast.
All right, so that's what it feels like. But let's get into the hard data. Because when you actually look at the numbers, you see just how widespread this whole thing is. This is not a problem in 1 or 2 cities. No, this is a statewide trend.
And what's really remarkable here is the consistency. Just look at this. You've got Sarasota, a pretty high-end market on the Gulf Coast, down 30%. Then you have Cape Coral, known for its waterfront properties, also down about 30%. And then you go all the way over to Pensacola in the Panhandle, and it's the exact same story, a drop of over 30%. It's hitting completely different markets at different price points in almost the exact same way.
And this chart, wow, this shows the other side of the problem. It's not just that prices are falling, it's that the number of unsold condos is exploding. In Sarasota, inventory is up more than 60% from last year. In Aventura, near Miami, it's up 80%. And get this, in Pensacola, it has surged by a staggering 90%. That creates a vicious cycle, right? More sellers are fighting over fewer buyers, and that just pushes prices down even more.
So this brings us to the absolute core of this explainer. Because if you really want to understand why this is all happening, you have to look past the sale price. You have to uncover the hidden costs that are driving this crisis. It's all about what it actually costs to carry that property month after month.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, people are still moving to Florida in droves. The sun is still shining. So why on earth is the condo market in so much trouble? Well, the answer is a financial squeeze that has made owning a condo completely unaffordable for a huge chunk of people.
We can really break it down into these 3 things that are just crushing condo owners. First, this massive shock to insurance costs. Second, these relentless hikes in HOA fees. And third, these huge, out-of-the-blue special assessments. You put those 3 together, and they've completely changed the entire equation of what it costs to own a condo in Florida.
Let's start with insurance, because this is just a shock to the system. In a lot of these coastal areas, a yearly premium that maybe used to be around $3,000 has just skyrocketed. Owners are now getting bills for $9,000, $10,000. I've even seen $12,000 a year. That's a tripling of a major expense. That's a direct hit every single year. Okay, next up, the HOA fees. Because of new state safety laws and the need to build up their savings, these condo associations are being forced to jack up their monthly dues like crazy. Fees that used to be a few $100 have just ballooned. It's not uncommon now to see monthly HOA fees of $800, $1,000, or even over $1,200 in some buildings.
And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, you get the knockout blow, the special assessments. These are these giant one-time bills for huge repairs like concrete work or a new roof. All of a sudden, owners are being told they owe $20,000, $30,000, or in some cases, an absolutely staggering $50,000 per unit. I mean, if you're on a fixed income, how are you supposed to come up with that? It's impossible.
So what happens when you take soaring insurance, giant HOA fees, and these surprise assessments and throw them all together? The whole market just freezes up. It creates this state of gridlock where the basic functions of buying and selling, they just stop working.
The dilemma for buyers is just, It's brutal. Look at this. When you add up your mortgage, your taxes, that crazy new insurance bill, and say an $800 HOA fee, your monthly cost to own can easily be over $2,200. But you could rent a very similar place, maybe in the same building, for $1,400. When it's that much cheaper to rent than own, why would you buy? Demand just vanishes.
And this creates this devastating ripple effect across the whole system. You've got investors who bought for cash flow who are now losing money every month, so they're desperately trying to sell. You've got lenders who see all this risk, so they start blacklisting entire buildings with shaky finances. Retirees who just can't afford the new costs are being forced to sell at a huge loss. And the flippers, the ones who thought they'd make a quick buck, they're stuck paying massive fees on empty condos they just can't get rid of.
So here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. What we're watching here isn't just a normal market cycle. This isn't just an up and down thing. It's something much, much deeper. A lot of people are calling it a structural reset.
This really gets to the absolute heart of it. For decades, the market basically ignored the true long-term costs of keeping up these buildings on the coast in a high-risk area. But now, the insurance companies, the lenders, the new laws, they're forcing this massive recalculation of what it actually costs to own a piece of Florida property. And that's really the key takeaway here. The old math is broken. It just doesn't work anymore. Those prices from the boom years were based on a kind of fantasy. They didn't factor in the real costs of insurance, climate risk, or long-term maintenance. The pain everyone's feeling now is the market just brutally correcting for that mistake.
And so all of this leaves us with a pretty big question for the future of Florida, doesn't it? The appeal is still there, the beaches are still beautiful, the weather's still warm. But as the true cost of living in paradise really comes into sharp focus, you have to wonder who exactly is going to be able to afford the Florida dream in the years to come.